here. Okay, back with another live stream, and I'm going to go working on the on my brand new, slightly used HP server. I've got it up on my workbench this time, and I'm going to open it up here in a little bit. And well, first I'm going to check the CPU paste and make sure it's not dry or anything, and then kind of look over other things like the PCI slots and all that. I don't have it plugged in. I unplugged it the last time after I got done with it the last time. I never did see anything I was worried about unplugging it without, with the in standby mode, and I couldn't see anything to tell me that, some way to make it shut down like a regular PC does and not show a light. So went ahead and unplugged it because I've seen Morton do that over and over and over. I can't remember for sure, but I don't remember him explicitly, Morton, the server guy that I watch his videos on my Playhouse YouTube channel, explicitly saying, be careful about that or anything. So got my endoscope hooked up too so that I can show close-ups, and the stickers up, the legs won't let me set it anywhere but like that. There's no place to set it, and get it right side up. But if you can read that upside down, it can weigh anywhere from 35 to 60 pounds, and it said in the manual, it just said the weight was 66 pounds. I guess they just give you the maximum weight. And I did find out that it's not quite as hard to handle as I thought it was going to be when it was in the box when I first got it. So it's definitely heavier than any desktop I got, but I was able to pick it up. I was worried about picking it up off the floor with my either hurting my back, or mostly I was worried about my shoulder because it's been sore, but did fine. So I'm going to go to the desktop, and first let me check the sound on my stream, and it stream's green at least, so okay, it's got good sound. So I'm going to go on the desktop, and I've been saying I was going to do this, but I didn't want to do it because I know it would probably sidetrack too long is my reason. But this is where I got it on Amazon, and it's still the same price. I had been watching it. It's over time, I'd have to look on my links. I wrote down the prices and made it a part of the name of my link, but it went down twice over the last 6 months to a year, however long I've seen it up here. And there wasn't any reviews. It doesn't necessarily mean, I was going to say nobody bought it, but just because there's no reviews doesn't mean nobody bought any of them. It's just that not very many people, including myself, write reviews. It's so dang hard to write reviews on Amazon. They reject them for every little thing. I get tired of messing with it and don't do it. The last two times I tried to do it, I got so aggravated with it, I just said forget it. After about 30 minutes to an hour, probably at least an hour, I don't ever give up in 30 minutes on hardly anything. Anyway, it's $260 plus $37 shipping, and the shipping went down some too. Not, it was more, closer to $50, I think, 40 or $50, and well, that is $40. So I guess it was 49, But I remember, they didn't have it exactly an even number, and the price is. I figured that at that price, they might get sold out. So they're not the most popular server. They do have some known problems I've found out from watching lots of videos the last couple of years. But they're also, it will, for instance, if those problems don't bother you, like, and now that they're as old as they are, the hard drives, it's got, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those aren't fillers in this one. It's got, it tells you in the title. Let's see. It's HP ProLiant DL380 G7, Generation 7, 2U, that's 2 rack spaces. Rack mount 64-bit server with 2 6-core E5649 Xeon 2.53 gigahertz CPUs. It does have those. I've checked that out. 64 gigabyte of RAM, PC 310 $600 RAM. It does have the 64 gigabyte of RAM. It shows up as 62 point something. And let's see, 846 gigabyte SAS drives, hard drives, and I'm not going to read all those little letters off this time. And they're all there, and I saw the lights blinking on them. They all seem to be fine, green lights and everything. Well, sometimes, no, I was in a video. They turn blue when you're setting up a RAID in a video I was watching. The lights do. and it has an onboard RAID controller, and I looked all these things up in the things I didn't know much about, like the RAID controller, I looked up in the manual, and I already had it open a couple of times, but I didn't take anything out. Except for the battery, kind of wanted to fight. It has a battery, backup battery for the RAID, and I knew what that was right away from watching all the Morton's videos. And it has 4 gigabit NICs and 2 power supplies. They're 460 watt power supplies. I wasn't sure what I was going to get because I never did see it in the description, and in the pictures here they show 750 watt power supplies. But I thought, I figured they would have in it what would run the processors, and they do. I'm sure they're fine. And I thought, well, 2 750s, that's quite a bit of wattage. And some people take like Morton, he usually takes the second power supply out, but I thought I wanted to run it with both of them if I could, because, of course, it's good to have redundancy, but with 2 6-core processors, I just was thinking, okay, 460 watt power supply running 2 6-core processor. I thought maybe I'm not sure. I'm going to leave them in there until I know for sure. If I decide that, it'll run just fine and it won't be like underpowered. The whole point of getting this beast is because it's overpowered, and that's what I want. And I'm going to use it as a desktop machine for myself and as a server, all at the same time. So, okay, there's the. I clicked on the more information thing. It went past all that. I won't sit here and read all that. Let's see. Oh yeah, when you click on that, it does that. Okay, so I'm going to do me some new screenshots. I realized after I bought it, I went back looking through my screenshots because I mentioned in the previous videos, I've already done 3 videos on it. Thought it said it came with a DVD drive, and there is a picture of one there. That's probably where I got the idea. And of course, the pictures aren't always exactly what you get with stuff. This kind of stuff. This is used, of course. They're extremely expensive new, and this was manufactured in 2010. It looks like. I thought it was going to be 2011 from the manuals, but when I was looking at things in it, it showed 2010. So so reading all the most of that in the description up there is sounds like the Hewlett-Packard blurb, from their advertisements for it, original. What it could do, some of it does have, some of it is what it could do, and so really not a lot of point in reading that anyway. And the specs, the basic specs, same thing. I just is in the title, It says they're 66 pounds. They probably got that off of the manuals, just like I did, because the seller obviously knew where the manuals are, and I found 1 or 2 manuals, but they gave us links to everything, specification, the quick specs, that's what that one is, and then the installation manual, the user guide, and the user manual. And somewhere I got the ILO manual too. I thought it was one of these links, but anyway. And there's some questions on it, and I was wondering, after this question here, I was wondering if it was going to have a mixture of DIMMs, and I was like, great, that won't be so great. Like it says, most likely, they ask what DIMMs does it have, memory DIMMs does it have in it, memory modules, and then it says most likely a combination of 2 gigabyte and or 4 and or 8. And I was like, a combination? It's usually not, from what I understand, it's not good to mix sizes. I've done it in desktops always, but because they were free and cheap, that I guess people gave me. But when I buy memory, I don't do that, So anyway, mine has 64 gig, and I forget how many, but they're all 4 gig. I figured that out because they're all even amounts. There's not any. All the memory slots are populated evenly. I haven't ran any software on it that's told me that yet, but and I didn't take any out yet. I don't want to take anything out of it or do anything that could possibly be before I ran it and made sure it ran good. But that could possibly be, saying that I did it, something to it. So and I got into the BIOS, I got into the ILO setup, and I tried to get into the ILO for quite a while. I never did get in there, and I found some more things out from watching videos yesterday. It's been a day or two since I messed with it, and so anyway, what do I want to do first? Okay, I'm gonna get over here on my camera, and I'll just stay on the camera like that, and get on my lapel mics until I get when I get to want to show something up close, I can use the endoscope. So, let's see. Oh, one thing I might go back on the desktop in a second. But I may not need to. I've seen the HPs, Lenovo and the HPs, taken apart many times. The CPU covers taken off many times on the videos, but I haven't on this, and it looks a little different. But it's real simple to open and close the case. But there's two, and I already looked at this, the instructions here, and it really just shows what I really already know. Open up the actual, get the CPU in and out. Well, I'm not going to take it out or anything, so put that off over there. Now, oh, I just saw those. They usually always do have, everything usually always has, pull handles like that. So there we go. So this is the PCI, and the way in the description of it, I thought it might have. Be careful here. I thought it might end up having. I was trying to have that in the shot. Two PCI cards here, extension cards, expander cards, but it has one, and it says slots 5 and slot 6, PCI Express X4, both X4. Okay, I really needed to know that because it can handle X8 and X16. It doesn't even have that. So, and I was thinking about buying a video card for it because you can put video cards in it, but then and I had a feeling I should wait. Let me get that right set up where I can see it. Slot 4. Oh, okay. Slot 1, 4, PCI Express X8. Well, that's weird. Slot 3 to 6. Okay, slot 3 to 6, PCI Express X4. Slot 2 to 5, PCI Express X4. But up higher on the card it says slot 1 to 4, PCI Express X8. And I remember Morton saying, and it was on one of these, but I think it was a G6. He was saying it says, like in the specs, I guess, that it'll do up to X16, but the actuality when you get in here is that it'll do X4 and X8 or X4, 6, and 8 or something like that. All right. So, but also what I think is you may need to move this thing. You can move them. You can move it over to here if you want to. You move it over here to this empty slot, and without having to buy another one, if you want to. If that's the case, if I understand what I just read, I believe those open so they won't. If I understand what I just read, and I want to buy a video card, I don't have to have the fastest video card in the world. I don't game or anything. But it was it's in on that side. So, see if it says anything here. Riser card is what I was trying to say, PCI riser card. I'll have to really go through the specs and see if there's a difference. Secondary. So that's the primary, and this is the secondary riser. Okay. So so it's in the primary. slot 1 to 4 PCI Express X8. Oh, okay. And then slot 2 to 5, 3 to 6, Express 4. Okay, so this is the one I would want it in. And there's room, it's already got the deal out. That's exactly where I would put, that's the only white, full width. That's where I would be wanting to put the video card. There's plenty of room in there. If it has, I want one without a fan, you know, with a heatsink on it. Oh, and there is another, oh, there's another one right here. It's on the other side. There it is. There it is. Let's see. I'd forgotten about that. I already knew that. I knew that. This, I think, is the one. It's the longer slot. So this is the one that I would have to put my video card in. But if you put, I think if you put it over here, it gives you, I saw a video on how to do that, and not one of Morton's, but another video, and he moved it from where, and I believe it was here, and he moved it there. Well, actually, I don't remember. But anyway, you just got to go by whether or not you're, oh, that's full size, that's full width, so I would probably be able to, but it's not very deep because it's on the top of the power supply. So that's what he was doing. Yeah, he moved it over there. So evidently, I might have to look into the specs. I don't want to spend $50 to $80 on a video card and then find out that you know, it won't fit, it won't work. But yeah, that's the one you put the video card in, because that's got, well, what Morton was saying is it's got 16 up, you know, the 16X pins, but it's only going to put out, oh, he was saying it didn't put out enough wattage. His was a G6. This is a G7. And it puts out up to 75 watts out of those PCI slots. Well, total. And I'm not, but I won't be having, the ones I've been looking at are 25 watts. So I saw one yesterday that was $79. That was, they were 2 gig, and this one was $79 for a 4 gig. And I thought, well, wait a minute, maybe I'd rather have that. So, oh, okay. There's the RAID adapter. I know that because the battery goes to it. This is the battery, and I'll have to take it out of its slot. I think I think I'm gonna have to take the fan cooler stuff out of there. So. Yeah, all that's got to come out, so I'll have to take it out of its slot. And it's a, I think they're lithium batteries, if I remember right. Morton's made some videos on how to replace them with a much cheaper, you know, take a battery out of something else and put it in there, because they're real expensive when you buy them for the IBMs. And I've already got an SD, got Fedora 29 live on there, and it's on a little riser card. I thought it was onboard chip. It's what I thought it said in the but I guess it's still considered onboard because it's not in a PCI slot. But so you could change the RAID adapter then if you, but you'd have to get probably an HP to get it to work. But now let's see. Oh, this yeah, okay. The muffler is the muffler's what now I won't be able to say the right thing. That's what Morton calls him. I get a kick out of. He's Danish, I guess you'd say. He uses a Danish keyboard, so I guess he's Danish, and he lives in. I always forget the name of the country, but it's over there. I think that's, what's the name of it? I think he speaks English really well, but I think they're, you know, their language is Dutch. Anyway, once in a while he actually does say a few words in Dutch. Okay, so I didn't see any, when I was running, I didn't see any lights out or anything. Really no need to check all the cable connectors. They're all good, or it wouldn't have been running good. Anyway, no error lights or anything before. So yeah, but see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. DIMMs of memory on each side, and there's still, well, there's only 1 slot left on this side and 1 slot left on that side. So There's something Morton on the G6 he was showing. Well, I think that's only if you like. It'll hold 348 gigabyte of memory total, something like that. He said, but if you do that, you'll degrade the performance. So you really don't. You want a certain amount you really want to put in it. So I don't know. I might be able to put one here and one here. But I mean, I got 64 gig. I don't think I'm going to be worried about it for a long time. So I'm going from a quad core with 4 gig of RAM to a dual 6 core with 64 gig of RAM. I'm not worried. I'm happy. And I checked it out, and it shows in the system monitor in Fedora 29 as 24 cores, which you know, that I guess that's the hyperthreading. But I thought that was it was unexpected to me because none of these other machines ever have shown the hyperthreading in the system monitor. So now. Looks like you need. Oh, there's what you lift up. What I want to do is check the CPU pace. See, I did not see anything that said. It just shows I'm getting the CPU out. Let's see. So I'm missing it. No, I'm not taking them out. Shows a lot about the back. There's a thumb screw right there. I don't really see why you would need that off to make this. You need to do something. That doesn't seem like, it seems like maybe it just takes that much to get it loose. But I guess I'll look in the manual first. There's no sense in me guessing at something like this. So let's get back on the desktop, and there's probably a detailed how to do that in there. This ain't an old 76 Chevy Blazer. Right? You don't want to just experiment on it. That I know what to do with. Every inch of it. I did when I first got it. And I did have to. I never did get a manual on it, but I have a 1975 motor manual, the Blue Book. And so everything to do with the engine and drivetrain was there. You know, I don't remember if they have specific four-wheel drive stuff, but it had everything I needed to know. Well, not everything. I guess there's four-wheel drive stuff in there. I can't even remember now. I don't remember being a Blazer in there though. Okay, so yeah, I've already got that folder open. Now, which mic am I on? I never did switch. I got the mic out, but I didn't switch. I thought something seemed odd in that I maybe forgot a step or something. So, oh, sorry. I'm being quiet, listening back to make sure everything works. Okay, they're on the internet. Okay. I put all my screenshots in there, so now I got a lot more to look through. See, I think the maintenance service guide is what I want here. Okay. Heat sink, I guess. Oh, maybe it already opens. I was trying to go to the other. Yeah, it did. I wanted to put it over in the other. But sometimes most of them you can see. You see that little right there where my mouse is. You see that on top of the blue thing, but sometimes you don't. Okay. Heat sink, page 59. Page are we on? sometimes it doesn't. $58, $59. Okay, let's see. Full length expansion board was what I was looking at. The PCI expansion board, which I just did. So that one is pretty simple. Now then, to remove the heatsink, power down the server, extend the server from the rack. If you don't have a rack and you have it on a table, then don't do that. Remove the access panel. Yes. If full expansion boards are installed, remove the PCI riser cage. I could see that it looked like it might be in the way, so I wanted to look in there anyway, but that's the other reason why I took it out. Remove the air baffle. Yeah, baffle. He calls it the buffler. That's what I was trying to say. The air baffle, or the air intake, air director, air intake director or something like that. There's always some fancy. That's funny. They call it a normal word, air baffle. I figured with it being enterprise, they'd call it some fancy word that didn't even mean what it was doing, like they do with cars and stuff, of newer cars. Open the heatsink retracting bracket. Okay, so that's all you do. Well, what about that extra thing with the thumb screw on it? Remove the heatsink. There we go. Clean the old thermal grease with alcohol swab. Allow alcohol to evaporate. Apply the grease to the top of the processor, just like that. Oh, that's how come Morton does it. That's how he does it. 5 dots, like a domino, like a number 5 domino. It works perfectly. I thought, well, that's not going to fail him. He doesn't spread it out. I've always spread it out. I used to didn't touch it with my fingers because I thought it would cause some sort of reaction between the grease on your fingers or something. It doesn't. And I didn't know if the stuff would hurt you, soak into your skin. That was the thing I really thought, because people always said don't touch it. And maybe it does, but I've been putting it on regular machines with my finger for years, and I never had a single one of them. They never needed it again. 5 years or so, ago that I've done some of them. More than that, 10 years ago, I think I've done some of them. The only ones that dry up fast, actually, are some desktops that run really hot, or laptops. They dry. If you get a hold of a laptop, or if your laptop's overheating, check the heatsink paste. It's probably dried out, and that's all that's wrong with it. So, assuming that you have ones you can get to it and do that. Most of them you can get to it by just opening a door on the back. The ones I have, the dual cores and stuff. Now, if you got a newer one, I don't know. I haven't got one. Install the heatsink. So that thing is just, I notice when Morton opens them, that he really has to kind of pull on them sometimes. And so I'm just looking at the pictures while I'm baffling on here. Oh, rattling on here. And no rattles in this thing. I'm glad of that. Okay, so let's just go back up to the top of those instructions. But I just thought I would, if it needs, I'll probably put a little on there. Well, unless it's just cake, really full of brand new. We'll see. We'll get in there. Yeah, unless it's full of brand new heatsink paste. And this place, is a business that I got from that sells computers, used servers and stuff. So they may go. I don't know if they were doing a good job, they'd go in there and put new heatsink paste on every machine they get. They wouldn't just leave them, because they would know. That is pretty funky right there, but I think that's really just maybe to keep this baffle in place or something. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I didn't need to mess with that one bit. Okay. So, see, and I thought, well, if I start unscrewing that, and I didn't need to, and it messes up some adjustment. Well, let's. Oh, I hate when I do that. I switched to the right mic and didn't switch to the right camera. Yeah, I've already got it open. All I did was just pull up hard enough on the handle there until it came up. I just didn't want to do it, and I thought maybe those screws there, that thumb screw and this whole bracket, I thought, well, maybe that has something to do with it. And I don't, shouldn't just do that. But I'm going to go on to endoscope and cam 2 because I want to look and show the what the information is on those stickers. I was going to grab my magnifying glass, and then I realized that if I can get it in there, it's usually good to have this on the. It may not be at this point on this tripod, but it may not be. I don't think we'll be able to read it. Is the thing. If I put this. That stuff, no, that ain't gonna work. I was trying to use these parts that I took off to. I can't get it any closer without bending everything all up or something. I guess I can do that. See, not hard to bend this. So here we go. I don't know which way is which. Maybe it's this way. So when I spin this thing, that's upside down, isn't it? Is that right set up? I've got it zip tied to this thing, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be the right way. I try to use this on the tripod and not move it around because of how bad this gets. That's why I've got both cameras right now, so that at least you got one that's not going crazy. The only problem is I can't read that from over here. That preview's too small. But it doesn't help me. You might have been able to read it, but I couldn't. So. Oh, now I didn't think about that. That actually lets me aim it in that direction. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. Well, let me just read it with the magnifying glass. So, replace with spare heatsink. 40, so 49. I thought it said something about gigahertz on one of those stickers. Which I thought was surprising, and that's why. Oh, 266 gigahertz. Yeah. So I guess it'll handle up to 266 gigahertz. Yeah. Yeah, 266 gigahertz. Okay, so probably a minute ago when I was trying aiming all that, I showed it. But I couldn't read it. I'm too far from the screen to even think about reading it. So I'm going to go back on camera 2 so that you can see the overview of what's going on here. Okay, while I'm sitting here and thinking about it, I need to get my heatsink paste out. Where is it? Oh. I started to get that out earlier and I didn't do it. I don't know why. I thought about it, I don't know how many times. Thought it was real handy in here. Oh, it is real handy in here. It's not down in the bottom. Oh, it's kind of stuck in the handle area because that's where I stuck it last time instead of putting it all the way down in there. I didn't see it because of that. My new set of drivers that I just got, they really go out in the toolbox out in the garage, and I just haven't put them up yet. I opened them and put them there. So I've got a whole tube, and Morton did a bunch of testing on heatsink paste and tested temperatures, and plus he's used it for a long time. And he said he can't see any difference in the cheap Chinese stuff that's $2, and that's what that is, or the expensive. That'd be 10 to 15 bucks of those name brands, which are what made where? China. So, or somewhere else like that. Some other country like that where they get cheap labor. So, I'm sure I'll need at least one rag. Let's put these screws back up. Yeah, I didn't even need to open. Let's try this. This could cut you. There's just a little dust there. I don't want it going onto the heat sink paste. It looks really clean, but when I pulled those two pieces out, I did see that there was some dust. That's one thing I hadn't thought about. As clean as it look, there could be dust in the fins, and then I'll be wanting to take them out. I'm going to take them outside and blow them off. There we go. Be careful where you grab them. They're going to get you. Okay. Let's get this. Well, okay, it's not dried out. What's on there? Looks like somebody just added some more. What they did. You see, it's, well, half of it's on here, and half of it's down there. So I don't think it was in bad shape or anything. I don't think I want to. It's not brand new though. No. You can tell when you touch it how brand new it is. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it off and do it again. So get my little blue glove. I don't want to. I'm going to use some. I had to clean it with alcohol, and I've got some denatured alcohol in the garage, but I also have some electronics cleaner. Spray can of it right here. I think I'll spray some of that on my rag. Usually what I do is, this is the one that I got in the dust, so I'll use a new one. Usually what I do is wipe it first and then clean it with. I just said I was going to put my glove on, but you know what? You can't work good with the gloves on. So yeah, this is dry enough. So I don't think they replaced it before they shipped it to me. I think it's just fairly new enough it's not dried out. Maybe they. Who knows if they checked it at all or what they did. But yeah, if I get it all wet, then it's just going to run alcohol down in the machine, and I don't really like that idea. So I'd rather just dampen one of these paper towels. Yeah, that's dry enough to replace, in my opinion. So I'm gonna replace it. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it would maybe last for years, but I've got plenty of it, and this is a important machine to me. So, and you know, I mean, 6-core processors are not going to be. I'm sure they probably, since how they don't have super big power supplies in here, you know, like I got a 650 watt power supply in my mom's AMD 8300 I'm building. Well, it already had a 650. I bought a 650 watt when it had a dual core because the 450 watt went out, and I decided to go ahead and buy the 650 watt, and because I anticipated going up to an 8-core processor, and I had that ASRock motherboard that would handle an 8-core, but it actually doesn't handle that. That 8-core that I got is newer, way newer than that motherboard. So I intended to use that endoscope a lot more, but it's very. There's no place to set it. I don't want those metal legs going down and touching any of this circuit board, and you know, me being very, very sorry I did that just to make a video. So, oh, I can look at the CPUs and see what the numbers on them are. I might use the endoscope and try to see that. I'm going to do one at a time because I don't want to. Okay, one was like that. I remember that. Or was it? You'd think that both of them would be in there the same way, but I don't think it would matter. But I think one was in here like this. Yeah, because I thought it said open, and I thought I was going. That's where you would want to get a hold of it, but you can't without. You might cut yourself. That's the fins, and they're pretty small and sharp. I finally just wiggle it side to side. Oh, okay. There's two pins here. It does go only one way. There's two holes here and two pins here, one pin there. So it actually does have a way that they want you to put it on there. And so we'll go with that for sure. I just don't want any of that excess on the. That's what I'm doing, is getting the excess off of the outside edges of the CPU. Okay, now let's go to the. Let's put it over here because I'm gonna try the endoscope again. Let's see. I'll put it there for now, and then I'll have to aim it by hand. And as small as that is, we'll go full endoscope, full on endoscope there. Okay, now that sometimes is a trick I've used that works, but that's not going to work. But I'm going to see if I can read it with this. Until I won't try to read all the numbers. Even like that, E5649, I think that was what was in the ad. E5649, Intel Xeon, Costa Rica, SLB-Z8, Costa Rica, 2.53 gigahertz, 12 megabyte / 5.86. So I did read almost all of them. Then 3139B987. So that's what's on there. Now let's see if we can get that in there and have it show up. The numbers are not straight on, are they? Maybe it was this way that I had to turn everything. I'm getting hung up in my... I do have a light on my... Where is it? I'm trying to have it on it so I can see if the light helps. The problem with using the light is it can make it worse instead of better. There it is. That'll wash it out. And it's not really much. This doesn't work too good. This is not an expensive endoscope. This is a $10 endoscope. So we'll quit playing with that. Okay. Sorry, one-man video show here. Don't have nobody. I don't have a master control operator. I mean, that's what I used to do. I used to work at a TV station. I was a master control operator. I switched the programs, over-air programs. But what do you call it? Floor director. I don't have a floor director. They did live shows too. And I went over there to the studio sometimes, a couple of times. Saw how they did that. But so that's good enough right there for me to put it on there. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, when you're closer, that you can actually use the magnifying glass to make it show up. I'm turning this into a way longer job than it needs to be. Yeah, I've got plenty. I knew I did, but I was, sitting there thinking, oh, what if I run out or something? So I'm just going to do it. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. I don't know. I can't. You don't want it coming all out all over the place. Get some of that away from the edge. Now that should be fine. I've seen him do it over and over, and I think people must have, said, "Oh yeah, I'll take that off and let's see," because he wouldn't take it off and show. But I've seen him take it off and show how it works, how well it works before Morton, and it works. Now with one thing, this has those pins, so you can't really, wiggle it back and forth much. You can a little bit. Look at that. See what I mean? So I took it off because I just had to see. But also wasn't I didn't feel like there was, I guess as close as that there is, and the whole rest of the sheet metal, you can't hardly get it on there wrong. So this one, yeah, about the same as the other one. So we'll just clean it up too. I forgot to do the alcohol. It won't hurt. I'm not, rubbing the thing with my fingers. And when you wipe it with a clean paper towel, so I'm not getting any finger oil on there. I don't know. Really, I would say the main advantage of using the that's a little damp, because I was going to say these have been used to clean my glasses, so they have a little bit of glasses cleaner, which is ammonia and stuff. I don't think there's any alcohol in it. I'll get another one that doesn't have anything on it. I don't know what ammonia would do with that compound, so let's don't find out. On the coolest machine I've ever had so far. But I'm not worried about not using alcohol. I'm actually a little more worried about it because I'm planning on turning it on right away. And if it's if some of it gets down around the processor and causes a ground, now what would that do? They say let it dry, of course. Use alcohol and let it dry. But if it gets down under, and alcohol dries fast, but if it gets down under the pin, between the processor and the socket, how long does it take to dry? So yeah, I'm glad I forgot. I was going to dampen, but with that cleaner is what I was going to use, because I know it's mostly alcohol. That electrical cleaner is what it is. This is a really good electrical cleaner. I've used this for many, many years. I was going to say since the 70s. I can't remember if that's when I discovered it. There's a red one and a green one, and I believe the green one is the one that cleans actually. I remember the one I used to use back in I think that's when I first started, was taught about it, was the green one. And now they have a red one and a green one, and I didn't realize it, and I'd been buying the red one, I believe, and it didn't work as well. It didn't detox. You've probably heard of detox. Well, the green one, I'm pretty sure the green one's the one I think's better. It's better than detox. Like if you spray it on your switches, and volume knobs, and can't think of the right word. I'm going to try to say the right name for the part, but attenuators. Anyway, it's got enough on it. I'm just gonna be getting it on my hands. Let's see. That one's getting wonky. Oh, now it wants to get act up right when I'm using it a lot. Come on. There. At least the low, it's got a low and a high setting on the light. I think the one of the lights will just kind of LEDs. One of them's not. Sometimes it'll come on when you mess around. The circuitry's loose in there, and I need to fix it. But I've always got bigger fish to fry. I don't ever want to mess with it. I don't know why there's really quite a bit of paste down in that side. It doesn't get hot and run or anything. It's not like it would get down in the, in the pins of the processor, but I don't know. Just don't like it. Excess everywhere. Now, I kind of did get my fingers on the top of the processor, but I'm not worried about it. Like I said, I've been doing CPU heatsink paste or grease. I think somebody told me that they were told when they went to buy some that it wasn't paste, it was grease. It might be lithium grease or something, but anyway. Everybody pretty well calls it paste, and that's what I call it most of the time. And this one is the Intel 09. I guess it was made in 09. E5649, so they're matched, I believe. E5649. And figured there'd be an error. It might not even boot if they weren't matched. From watching Morton play around with putting different processors in machines. 2.536 gigahertz. Now, if I'd had them both off, I could have known for sure those numbers matched. 3041A971 is the model, the number on it. I'm pretty sure they're the same. They, when I look at it, when I get some hardware, I may boot it to Party Magic and see if it can see what everything is. It's got hardware testers in it. I didn't think it would. I wasn't sure if it would boot to anything but Fedora and Red Hat and maybe Fedora. And I've found another section in the manual. It boots to all kinds of Linux distros. Actually, the other ones besides Red Hat, which I thought would be you have to install drivers for Red Hat. With Fedora and other distros, it says in the manual, and this was way back in 2010, 2011, when the manual was written, I think in 2011, that I was reading. They already had the drivers in the Linux kernel for this thing and for the processors back then in the kernel, but not in the Red Hat. You had to install the drivers, so that was a surprise to me. I figured it'd be the Red Hat would support servers right out of the box without anything, but maybe because it is for servers, they don't put the drivers in there in the kernel so that you can customize it to whatever architecture you're running, and that's something I want to triple check. But it ran perfectly with no squawks in the Fedora 29 Mate desktop, but it was a little sluggish. It looked like the video was acting kind of funny and floating around, and then I remembered, oh yeah, it's only 64 megabyte onboard video, and the Fedora 29 needs more than that. Surprised it worked at all. So This time I won't take it back off. So yeah, Parted Magic, it doesn't need but like 300 and, well, it doesn't need but like 150 megabyte of memory, but anything over 348 megabytes is like, it'll scream, you know. So with this, it should run all the there's not a whole lot of testing applications. There's a hard drive tester and a basic hardware tester in there that I like. So I'll run that. And it's from 2013, so it's about this age group. So I'm going to shut it up now. They're level and they're down. I can feel that they're, you know, floating on the heatsink paste. There we go. I don't know what that is. It's not even in any of the pictures that I've seen so far. But it looks like, well, no, I thought it might slide left or right or something. That's why I thought if I loosen it up, I might jack things up. But no, it doesn't. But let's see. Oh yeah, there's the USB. You can put a USB stick over there. I knew it probably had one. And what's that for? Might be SATA. No, not SATA. I was thinking it might be power, some sort of extra power. Can't see any label that tells me what it is. I remember seeing Morton, and then there's an extra 10 pin. I know that right away from Morton's video on the G6. That's a 10 pin power that you can run to video cards, but you need an adapter to a video card that's a 6 or an 8 or a 4. So, and he said those cables are expensive, and the HP cables are expensive. I know all the memory showed up, so I'm not taking any memory out or anything. I could take one out just to see what it says on it. Yes. Let's see. Let's take this one out. There we go. Let's see what it has in there. It's the back side. Samsung, 4 gigabyte, HP branded. X1Y9FU4 looks like the model number of it. And 4 gigabyte, 1R4 PC3, 12800R. I think maybe that's a little faster than what was in the ad. I think it said 12600. And then there's a whole long model number. I'm not going to read that off. Okay, so go back in there where we got it. They look just like a regular size memory. Some of them, you know, they have memory has to go in a box and all that stuff. It's just like regular memory DIMMs. You never know, especially with the desktop. I mean, a machine that someone else might have been messing with, they might be one half plugged in or something. And it can be still working, but it's still plugged in just enough to get connection. And then if you jostle the machine around, of course this has been shipped to me, so it jostled a lot. But I always press on them and make sure they're in all the way. But what else have we got that I might want to see what's there? I know that's the radio controller because of the battery. And I don't really want to take it out. I mean, Morton always pulls everything out and shows it and then puts it back. But so why do it myself? He's already shown. Broadcom Ethernet. That would be for there's four ports, and then there's something you can plug into a header. I don't know what it's for though. And like I said, I have my 32 gigabyte SD card in there. It's actually a micro, I guess you call it, the ones for the phones, and it's in an adapter. It's working fine. Oh yeah, now let's make sure we'll get this cable out of the way when we put, well, the last thing will go on is that, so it'll have it out of the way. So, fans all look, I knew they sounded fine. Wait, oh. Oh, that's not the blades. I was like, they won't turn. It looks like the blades, but it's not the blades. It's the, like, protective. Yeah. There they are. Well, there's no errors or anything, and it sounds good. It's not like getting super loud or anything. It was surprisingly quiet. So, yeah, and there's the VRMs, the voltage regulator modules. I guess this is for the processors and this is for the RAM. That's Morton again. I got to thank Morton, man. There's nothing. This is why I do this. I mean, I like to learn, so I'm half learning and I'm half sharing what I already know, if I can remember it right. But and this is all. Well, I mean, this is most learning, but with a head start because I've been watching all these videos, mostly, like I said, Morton. But I really appreciate people sharing their knowledge. I mean, the world, we could do just about anything. Build, make, go, you know, in outer space, if we would not hoard knowledge. Cure diseases. Get this back on there. There we go. That's really just setting in there on those two pins, and then make sure you don't get it in between the memory wrong. I can see that where you could screw up. But that's the muffler, the air buffer that makes it go, you know, enough air to go to the right areas. Some of them have doors that, like, if you don't have the fans in there, the doors need to be shut and stuff like that. This one doesn't have anything like that. It's really simple, actually. Those IBM machines with those doors, you might actually, it looked to me like, of course I hadn't actually handled one, but it looked to me like you might accidentally get one in there wrong with the door closed, you know, open when it shouldn't be or closed when it shouldn't be. That's what I was thinking. What if you get it closed when it shouldn't be, you know? But now I'm going to put this in its place right now while I'm thinking about it. I guess the door keeps that in its place, the top door, because it can move right now the way it is. I remember when I had it out and put it back before, I was trying to get these wires situated in their holders, and I was like, well, it keeps jumping around. And there we go. There we go, and that there might be the, I was thinking, what is that heatsink for? It's big enough that I would think it might be the onboard video, and then this one, or this one could be. It's only 64 megabyte. Heartbeat. That might be the ILO. No, Heartbeat I think is the power manager. But ILO and Heartbeat work together. ILO reads all the heartbeat data, I think. But, you know, there's so many little numbers on there. MECH3, MECH3. That's probably what that's called. Maybe that'll, oh, and then SH, it's upside down, and I can't read it upside down. Oh, U66NBHS. It wasn't upside down. My brain was upside down. So, yeah, so if I wanted to put a USB in there, I could run it off USB or the SD, but I happen to have the SD. But I imagine my USBs would fit in there just fine, but they're only 2 gigabytes. But, you know, for one, I'll just use them for installing operating systems and stuff like that. I think this big old tall USB would fit in there. I guess I had it right the first time. Yeah, there we go. And I don't think it has USB 3. I think it has 2 only. Yeah, from 2010. But that's not a problem for me. I don't own anything that has anything to do with USB 3. Oh, there's a fan header. What that is, J72. But the other J31 has got 2. I guess they're powered, unless they're some sort of auxiliary audio stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pin. I think I might have got that wrong. But there's a little beep speaker. See, I didn't look over this much before. Motherboard contains foreign content. I think that's the motherboard. I'm not going to try to read it. It's really tiny. I think that's the motherboard model and everything. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. And I'm not going to try moving, unless I buy a video card. I won't do anything different than the way this already is. There is just enough dust for me to, those screws, oh, I guess those screws were not tightened, but you could have, they could be tightened. So normally, yeah, you know what, if those screws were screwed in, then this wouldn't have popped up without me unscrewing them. But they were not screwed in. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if I did move it, well, I wouldn't have room to put a video card over here. But you can move these covers around as long as they fit. So there's still plenty of covers. I guess maybe they don't ship them with one. It would kind of make sense now that I think about it. Now I want to make sure I get this in there, and you can get to the SD card with this in. Oh, okay, yeah. Oops, let's see. Not sure. I'm going to sit down to where I can see in there. I'll make sure that, yeah, the one thing that you need to line up, I can see right away, is that PCI card. There we go. There we go. That lock didn't lock it in there. Huh. This one's locked. No, that's not locked in either. It's locking it in the... Where is it locking in? Oh, that doesn't really lock it in. It just lifts it out. That's all it does. Oh, I see. Yeah, it doesn't lock it in. It just lifts it out evenly when you pull up on those. These are little tabs, I'd call them. And see, that was not tightened up, which, I guess if you're getting in there a lot, you might not care to have them screwed in. So now if you lift up on it, it's not going to open. The back end wants to light right up, but not the front. And I'm not even going to, they're not even snug. They actually have springs on them to make sure you don't over tighten them. So, let's put our lid on there. And make sure my sound is still working and everything. Actually springs on them. Cool. That's my first-hand dig around in a real server. I like that. So, this is a really cool thing that servers have. Morton shows them always. I can't get any, well, I could, but I would just be, you couldn't read it. It's really, really small. But it has a basic how to do most things. Of course, I didn't see how to take it tells you, it's funny because they got all this about how to take the CPU out, but replace it, but it doesn't. I guess that's more tricky, and so that's more important to put in there. And what everything is on, on the back, the adapters, but it doesn't tell you the thing I had to go look in the manual for, and that's exactly how. Now that I see it, it's so simple. They probably figure any buffoon would know how to figure that out, and I would have, if it wouldn't have been for that little screw fooling me right there. And see all that right there? That's for something that's not there, evidently. That's what I figured. That is a fancy mount for something that's not there. And like I said, the SD card, I got that in and out of there. I had it in and took it out and then put it back in. I couldn't get it out. It doesn't have a thumb thing on it. and I couldn't get it to come out. It was, my fingers were slipping on it, and I got a pencil here with the eraser end and got it out. So there's a trick I figured out on the go there the other day. Well, I mean, it's something I've done for many years in many situations, but anyway, at first I wasn't thinking about it. So battery's in place. I think it's fine. I haven't seen any errors on it whatsoever. And then you can just kind of lay it down, and then when you open that, it falls into place, and then you're down. I mean, that's it. And it has 8 hard drives, like I said. It has VGA and 2 USBs on the front, the power button. I've shown that in the other videos. I had it on, the camera aimed at it the whole time I was running it. So, I don't know how I'm going to actually get to my, all my wire connections here. This may be a little more tricky for me with, you know, but I don't want to try to move it. This thing is, my little work table here is one of those roll around tables like they put projectors on in school and stuff back when I was growing up. I guess they used something like this. They're not very sturdy. They always lean, and it was very hard to roll it on this carpet without it turning over with this weight of this thing on it. I can do that though. It leans that much. Now it's finally sitting up straight. But I need to get my power and my Ethernet hooked up. So I think I'll go ahead and, oh, that won't reach. So I'll have to do it after I'll do the longest cables first. Try to do the power last. And I can, last time, you know, I ran it in the floor, and I was thinking I was going to put it in my rack, my server, and the bottom shelf, and I decided that, well, I was making a joke right before I think it's right before I quit my last video. I said, oh, I could put that under the bed. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, I could put that under the bed, and I could leave it all plugged in. And it slides. The bottom is very smooth and rounded off. It slides on the carpet really well. So trying to get out only how much cable I need, so I won't have a rat's nest of cable going everywhere. I save twisties for sure, but I also save, I don't guess you can really see, can't see it, but the top, the wide thing on bags of coffee beans, yeah, you can take them off of there, and they make pretty good cable ties and stuff too. So there's 2 USBs, the 2 power supplies, VGA, and I'm gonna put it in one like I did before. There's 1, 2, and then, oh yeah, there's PS2 mouse and keyboard. There's serial connector, ILO, and then 3 and 4 Ethernet. Of course, I don't need but 1 Ethernet. I've got, at least I do have gigabit. I think you might, I was looking at one of my videos I was watching, the screenshot I took, and it was saying that, or maybe it's because I remember watching the video. Yeah, it was, I remembered it when I was watching it. It was saying that if you don't have gigabit Ethernet, then you couldn't set it on auto. You had to set it to whatever speed you had. And I thought, oh, good to know that. There's some other good, I haven't been, see now I'm looking for videos specifically for this machine. And Morton likes the IBM Lenovo machine, so, and he does have a G6, and he has a hard disk, I forgot what you call it, but a whole bunch of hard disk machine that he's been making videos on, playing with. And so I'm gonna put this one in the ILO, and the other one, this one's got a broken clip. It stays pretty good, but it could get yanked out. But this one has a good clip. It's Cat 6. This one is Cat 5 too. It won't matter on the ILO. And let's see. Try to get my power cables up here at least. It's gonna have to let it do that, so that my VGA cables will reach. I think I'm gonna have to hold one in each hand here. I don't think I can do that though. Ah, there we go. Yeah. I got to make sure this connector's not, pins aren't bent. These, when you take these on and off a lot, this thing is missing. I can't believe it works. It could be why I'm only getting, I don't think so though, but it's actually missing 2 pins, and one is bends all over the place and nearly falls out. It didn't fall out, did it? The one that was loose? I'm wondering now. Because I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember that there was 2 of them. May have finally fell all the way out. I didn't take it out because I was afraid it would quit working. I didn't know how deep they were, and maybe they were still making a connection. They're numbered. I'm missing. Now I'm missing 6 and 5. Yeah, it did come out. I'm pretty sure it was number 6. It's probably down there in the floor. So I don't know. Maybe that's why the last time it was there but not making a connection. It could be in the VGA connector. I better look. That has happened before. I'm gonna have to break down and buy me well, if I'm really gonna put this under the bed and run it there, if I can handle it, if it doesn't make too much heat, I think the noise wouldn't be too bad with it under the bed. If it does, it may still make too much heat though. Yep, it's in the VGA connector. I don't know if I can put this. I can't use it, but I might be able to put it over here. I'll show it. Won't be a very good video, but I'll show it. Show you what I'm talking about. And if you had you want to get it out of there because it's you get you a new cable. Like I break down and buy a new cable, and then you shove that on in because you didn't even know it was there. So I'll show you. I don't think I can use it for me to work like I do sometimes, but matter of fact, I don't think I can do anything but maybe just show it. See that pin? I think I'm going to have to hold the magnifying glass to do. If I can get this to sit there, I'll leave it like that while I'm doing the video. It actually gives me light with the light on. Might be able to do it by this. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to unplug that Ethernet though. Guess I'll drop it. Pick it back up in a minute. If it's sticking in there, I'm looking at behind my back at it. Oh. Yeah, that's copper. It's not steel, so it won't come. I think I shoved it in further. It's just barely sticking out. I can feel it. That's not really. Dang it. That's not. It's too rounded on the points, and that's the pointiest one I think I have. Wait, let's try this other one. I was thinking about trying my regular tweezers, but they're not very good at grabbing. I've tried them for stuff like this before. No, it's too big. Try more of a straight on. These are bent, so kind of hard to tell when you're. No, I can't even begin to get a hold of it. I think something. Try the tweezers first. If they'll pull out your nose hairs, maybe they'll get a hold of this, you think? Oh, it didn't. It did almost get a hold of it. Felt it and heard it. It shouldn't be tight. It's just a little sticking out. I'm looking over my right shoulder at that preview. It doesn't seem to have gotten worse, but it hasn't, you know, going in further. Try my little sharp pocket knife. That would be hard. Well, I guess I could pull out the power supplies and take this VGA connector out. I have to, but hopefully not. I had this happen one other time on a machine, and it was actually in a position to where I could get to it better, and it was still a pain because of these things breaking. Okay, it's coming out of there. Yeah. No. Yes. No. Where is it? I think it's sticking out a lot more. I'm not sure what's the best thing to try to grab it with. Maybe the tweezers. We'll try them first. Ah, gotcha. So I don't know what my video is going to be like. I don't have another cable long enough to reach over there. Let's put this. Can't even hardly pick it up off of that flat surface. There it is. That might have been why I couldn't get any more than 1024 by 768, because it finally got to the point where it wasn't making a connection. It was bending back and forth, but it wasn't falling out, so I left it for years. Actually, I'm gonna put it in my box of screws in case I decide one day that. Now you could probably solder these. Where is the darn thing? Where'd I lay it? Oh, I dropped it on the ground. Let's see how far it will reach. This is exactly about how far I can, you know, make this go. But here's what I was talking about with it. See which way is which for the numbers. There we go. So now I'm missing 5 and 6. They're all in a strange order, but 6 is on the left. That's the one I just lost. I know because that's. I remember looking at it 100 times, straightening it back out. The number 5 has been gone for a long time. I never could tell any difference in the color or the video resolution I could get, and I could always get, you know, 1080 resolution with that one that was bending, but I think it was still making a connection. And now that it's gone, I may never get more than. I bet you. We'll see, but I'll bet you it won't get. And I was surprised. I mean, of course, it just. I guess I got lucky that if it had been a certain other pen, the colors would have been crazy. Or, well, I have one where I'm pretty sure it's the cable. The other one that's long like this one. The other 2 of them are short. It's a 4-port KBM switch. 2 of them are, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet long, and 2 of them are like 3 feet long, or not even that long. And so. I saw one for $17. It's 10 foot long, but it's 4
what's the brand now? I can't think of it. As far as a specific brand of KVM, let me go ahead and get back to camera 2 because you can't really see exactly what I'm doing anyway. So I think I'll hook up, well, let's hook these up. Hook up my Ethernet first and then that, like I did a while ago. And then I'll do the power last. How much space I got to work with is one of my considerations as to how I'm doing. Let's make sure that's one. I don't think it matters, but I'm not sure on the server it might matter. I don't think it does, but yeah, if my video doesn't work good, then that won't be nice. Oh, okay, this is barely going to reach. Actually, going to have to roll this thing a little bit, I think. Either that or, well, I guess I can just shove it. It's not that out of balance, I don't think. I kind of measured it so that it was balanced over the legs, but I don't think it's that critical. You know, it's not that, like I said, rolling it is the only trouble. I could tell I had to be really careful rolling it. Make sure that I got it the right way. Big on top. See if the USB is going to reach. Yeah, it'll reach. Just. Make sure I'm not bending any more of them. Acted like it didn't want to go on there. There we go. I mean, that is the absolute. I can't move this thing at all, so I have to be careful with that. Guess I could shove it a little more. I better, because I tend to, you know, the table wobbles and all that, so I tend to move it. Okay, let's get all these tools put away and go ahead and, yeah, I just kind of pulled up or pressed down on the, with the pocket knife and, you know, pulled outward at the same time. If you've never done anything like that, kind of something you intuitively learn to do. And the sharpness of the pocket knife gets a hold of it just enough when it's something that's not tight, you know. So I'm gonna kind of shove it back where it was. Try to roll it without there. Gotta have enough room to be able to plug it in. Well, I can always move it. I can lean it. It leans really easy, so I can lean it back and forth. Okay, yeah. So we'll lean it just enough to. There. I knew it would be close. It actually had more leeway. Well, I routed the cable to get it down to the floor. That's one of the things. The way I routed the cable around, you know, around the rack and the other computers. Okay, now that gives me. I won't worry about the VGA would just unplug if I moved it too much, but the USB could actually, you know, I don't want to break the USB connector. That's the thing about that. Yeah, now I can't plug in the power without moving it a little bit, but that's going to be okay, I think. Goes just under that tray. Yeah, that's what I used to always screw down my screws, you know, to hold the VGA and everything on there. And I guess I had a few times when a computer, I started to take it out and it yanked everything, or it kind of fell off the edge of the, you know, desk when I was trying to clean it or do whatever, move things around. And I realized it's better to have it loose and let it come off of there and not break anything. But what bent those pins is taking them off of one machine, putting it on another. over and over and over, and not being able to see what you're doing, trying to do it by feel and stuff like that. And what'll happen, especially, you'll think you're getting it in there, and you're plugging it, you're trying to do it backwards, because you know they're only shaped go one way. And so, like I said, one of them, I don't think it has any bad pins, but the cable inside, the wires inside the cable have degraded to the point that it gets everything's purple unless you twist it a certain way, but you can't get it to stay in that spot anymore. I used to use it for years. I would just twist it a certain way. Now it doesn't stay. Okay, so get it to stay in that spot. Yeah, I'm already getting hungry. Can't believe it. I'll get me a chocolate thingy and see what is it I want to do. Oh, I'm gonna boot it to. I have well, let's just boot it to what's on there first, and see how it looks. Yeah, because I know that works. Because I don't even know if Party Magic will work for sure. Turn the light out on that. That endoscope gets really hot. That light. Trying to get things situated, my little neck pillow and all that stuff. Okay, got green lights inside, and the yellow light on the front like you should. So let's boot it up. I just about got last time I did this, I got my mic cable tangled around my wheels on my chair twice, but I didn't want, I almost hooked everything. I got to redo my profiles, my scenes on OBS to make new profiles to use my phone 3. I used to do it wirelessly through my phone, my third phone, and I took all that out because I thought it was causing trouble when the battery went bad on the phone anyway. And so now I realize, well, the battery's okay. It's going to be okay. It's actually holding a charge better than the other two. They go down to almost half sometimes overnight when I have them not running, but you know, the power turned off to them. And this one goes down to 95% overnight. And I left it out for about probably a month because it swelled up real bad, and I was afraid it was gonna. I knew that meant, well, I did some research. I knew it meant something bad. It's outgassing, and that packet is sealed, so it's staying in there, you know. And that what it means is that it's well, simply wearing out. I don't remember the details to go into it. So I think what it means is that the connections in there, well, no, I'm going to say oxidizing, but I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure there's some of that going on, but let's see. I got junk on my glasses, so I have to clean my glasses to where I can't read the screen like this. But I'm going to take this camera and either set it over here to the right, which is, I'll have to move on my drinks and everything, so that I won't have to move. That's the one over there above the machine is the one I usually used to go on the monitor, and I set it behind me. But it doesn't do, I can't, as far back as I have to set it to be able to, you know, just get in and out of my chair and everything else. I'll knock it over if I get it too close. I've done it. So as far back as I have to set it, then I have to use that, you know, cheap digital, well, I don't know if you call it cheap, but digital zoom. There's no optical zoom on the phones. And so it gets blurry because these phones are, I think they're 5 megapixel still shots and like around 2 megapixels on the video. So, and that, and you know, the digital zoom's probably, well, that more, from what I gather, I've never had anything higher than that. What I gather, the more, I do know I used to have a real video camera, a studio camera, that I got on an auction, just bought it used, like I did this, you know, like when it's old,
it was $10,000 when it was new, and like 90 or 89 or 90, something like that. And I got it later on in the later 90s. I got it for $350, just like this. I'll have to look this up, but I do know that right now a brand new server, HP server, is $20,000-$30,000, and so this one I got for $260 plus $37 shipping. So they go down. This kind of equipment, you know, they change it out every time something newer and better comes out. So they go down when they become, they consider them obsolete, you know. So, but I had a Sony BV3P tube camera. And of course, the digital well, there was 3-chip digital cameras out when I bought it. Of course, now it's gone. They don't even use that. I didn't even realize that, but they don't use that 1, 2, 3-chip technology. You need digital technology. I know I read about cameras, but I didn't catch on. Anyway, they use I forgot what they call it, but you know, we got 4K now, so. But that was 750 lines of resolution, which was high resolution for the back in the day. So, what am I gonna do? Oh, I wanted to get where I could boot it up. So, and show the screen. Let me see if I can work with this. Let me put this out here. I need the cable hooked up, or the battery will run down in just a few minutes. Oh yes, this is the only view you've got. Just forgot about that. Okay, so if I set it on the, yeah, about right there, I can still type if I'm careful. Oh, I can't use the SM58. It can't come out with that sitting there. There's the well, I can if I get it out first. I think I'll just stick with this mic. Well, it does sound terrible. It's got noise in it. Let's get it out. Use it as much as I can. I was saying a while ago, I already had all the cameras on and everything, and then I remembered I really have been planning on setting up phone 3 to be my wireless mic again, and I didn't do it. Okay, we'll switch mics now. Okay. Let that. Get lots of nice noise. Okay, yeah, now we're getting video feedback because I'm on the. Okay, let me turn off I was listening to my preview to make sure I don't screw that up and not have sound or something. I'm going to use my long stick to switch over to we're on camera 2. See the monitor. Switch over to the machine that I'm going to boot. I wonder if I can reach it. I'm going to have to scoot back. I'm gonna watch the lights for a minute. Yep, looks good. I haven't looked at them in detail while it was running. When it was in the floor, I couldn't get to where I could see them and read what was saying there. It's gonna be, you know, I can already hear it. It's not bad right now, but it's gonna be definitely more louder right here up at my ear level, you know. You should be able to see the top left of the screen. You won't get to see everything. But if I put it off to further back, I mean, it needs to be where my head is, and I can't do that. I can't sit here and hold it. I can't hold still. So I put it to the right on my desk, then it's so skewed that you can't read it that way either. It's a better looking picture. It's not blurry like when I get behind there and zoom in, but you can't read nothing. Oh, now I can finally see the monitor. Tell exact on my preview I can see taking it. You know, that one pin could have been the difference between it working and not working. I'm kind of worried about that now. The fans are up pretty loud for a second. It may just be going through testing because I fiddle around with things so much, but I didn't. I mean, I took the... Well, there may be sensors. No, I see the monitor's going to work. I see a blinking cursor. It should come up. Yeah, it's still working. But, you know, this could be actually okay at this right now, because if it's only 1024 by 768 with this thing this close, you'll probably be able to see most of the screen. Yeah, so I can move this over more and you'll be able to see the biggest part of it. Let's see. Oh, F9 for setup. Oh, and my monitor's not showing the whole thing. I can see that. I need to adjust it if I can. Sometimes you can just turn it off and turn it back on and it'll auto adjust. Usually. But it hasn't been doing that on this thing. But yeah, I never saw the F9 before because it was cut off. It's closer. It's better, but it's still cut off. And I thought it was something to do with me. I thought it was just because I didn't have the KVM switch on that machine when I was booting it up. Oh, and it tells you the different keys, but they go away before you can read them. I saw them in this video, though. Okay, now it's going to... It looks like it's maybe fitting now, though. We'll just leave it as it is for now. But it's Fedora 29 Live Mate Desktop. It's not actually installed on there. If I want to install it, I'll have to use one of my put it on one of my SD card, USB cards, and then install it. But I haven't decided. I may want to put a hypervisor on there. Well, nothing's going to run very well with the 64 megabyte of video memory. Well, nothing. Fedora won't. You know, newer distros won't. But whoops, I was trying to get that camera to where it would show. There we go. I'll wait till I get into the desktop. Oh, I can just hit enter, yeah. Wait till I get into the desktop and then see where I need to move that thing. I can actually tell better from my preview than I can from looking at my camera screen. There we go. Let's see. Oh. Okay, on my preview, it looks like I can see everything. Well, if I'd quit moving it so much. Okay, now, if I can get my hands in there and type, that's the thing. I may not need to type too much for what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, it's see if you try to change the display, you know, yeah, 1024 by 768 is the most you can get, and I'm sure that's probably is, and it will go up higher than that. It won't go 1080, but it'll go. I think it goes. I can't remember. 1080 by what? I think it goes. You know, like anyway, I can't remember. But let's look at the Mate system monitor again. And we'll see. Yeah, when you move things around, they kind of float. They keep going when you let go of them. And I think that's because of the video memory. That's my best guess. So it shows 24 cores on the CPU. 1.3 gigabyte of 62.9 gigabyte used. Doesn't have swap on the live system. And there's some Ethernet, a little bit of Ethernet activity. And it's Fedora 29 Mate Compass 64 bits. What I'm running on here. Shows the processor 2.53 gigahertz. Oh, there's the ID of it too. E5649. Sounds familiar. I'm not good at remembering numbers for as long as it takes me to say them. So, and then you can, all the processes and what's doing the most. File system, and of course I've left it smaller so it would, show up on the screen. Actually, I guess it might still show up. I didn't think about that. Since it's live, whenever you make this stuff fit, it goes away as fast as you. Mate system monitors using 24% of the. Why would it be using 24% of 24 cores? How could it do that? Oh, now it's 0. No, 24. I don't see how that's possible. It went away. Came and go. Come and go. Come and go. Let's see. Where's the memory at? There it is. And what's using the most memory? Probably made system monitor. Yeah. 53.3 megabytes. So, don't think there's really much to like check your hardware or anything on here. And after I install an operating system, I'll put a remote desktop on there. Well, I may install Fedora, but I'm not going to install it unless I want to figure out what it is I really want on here. And then I may have to install something and try it out and see if I want it, though. I'll have to learn about hypervisors. I've seen lots of videos on installing VMware, but I don't want VMware. I don't know if Fedora has one, but Red Hat does, I know. And it'll take me some learning to do that, but where's there's gparted. I don't know if I ever opened that up last time. I know I opened up Live at GUI. I tried to show the sound levels, but my compressors on my little lapel mics cut it off. Couldn't hear it. So I thought I just opened up. That's the installer. I thought I just opened up gparted. I must have slipped. Yeah, I just slipped because the next one under gparted is the installer. But you can. This is what this is for. It's run live. You can do rescues and whatever you need to do, or you can do work on your, like if your system was broke, you can do a lot of things. That's why it has gparted and stuff on there. But let's see. That is Dev SDA is the SD card I'm booted to. And that's all it sees. It doesn't see all those hard drives, those 8 hard drives. I'm going to have to, I'm sure it's because they're probably empty, and I need to set them up in the RAID setup. So, and I'll have to learn more about that, in this, especially in this machine, I tried to mess around and see if I could log into the ILO, and I still like to be able to do that, but I've been researching that. That's really what I've been researching, is how to make that work. And what I did realize it, but I wasn't thinking about it yesterday. You don't even have to have it running to log into the ILO. But let's see. Anything that would give me any indication of. I think on this live system, oh, yeah. For one thing, I'm not even sure if I have this is, Fedora 29, x86 64 made desktop. And seems to run fine, but just like when I was running the mate system monitor, I would think it wouldn't even register on this powerful machine, Not using, was it 20% or something? Open it up again. Takes a minute. Yeah, see, it takes a minute to even start showing. Oh, well, it's not. It's taking a minute. It's just they're just not using much right now. Now it's showing 0. But I don't know. I forgot what it said. Well, I think it said 24%. Now it's saying 0, which is what I would really expect. anything that runs in Fedora 29 Mac desktop, I wouldn't think would even really, if register hardly anything on here, you know. Now it's not. Maybe it was because it wasn't completely finished booting up or something. But Firefox works, you know, it's online. But I'm not sure if I want to check more into I think I did this already. Let's see, speed tests. I'll just go to speed test and do a speed test. The web browser is probably the most demanding thing, but yeah, the video is so, I think it's just a video memory. So right away, you know, I really can't do anything with it unless I get, and especially with all these ads, you know, I can't do anything with it unless I get a video card or I go with a hypervisor and install everything in the yeah, it's the video memory. That's why everything is real sluggish, and it has to do with video at all. And I am streaming, but I shouldn't still get to. Yeah, the last time I checked it, well, like this. Yeah, it's going to look like it's going to be about the same as it was last time. Some kind of ad. I'm not used to the ads because I have ad blockers on my system. I'm doing a screenshot, but it won't do me any good. Yeah, see, I have 200 down and 10 up, and while I'm streaming here, it's showing 196 and 0.60 and 8.92 up, which is to be expected. And since the video's not working very well, it may have skewed the speed test too. So yeah, there's my speed test. I don't have any place to store. This will go away. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't have any place to store it on there in this live system. So yeah, let me think. Let's see. The one thing I want to know is the exact right architecture, and then I don't think that Fedora makes a special one for, you know, these Xeon processors. I think I forgot to look all that up. I know there's sparse and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to put this, I'm going to shut it down again, I guess, and put this Parted Magic in there and see if it runs, and see if any of the testers will show us anything interesting. Well, that's shut down in a heartbeat. Let me get the USB in there. Yeah, it's a little annoying to listen to with it up right next to my ear, about 2 feet from me, but not bad. Oh, now I'm going to have to hit F11 to get to the boot selecting menu. My chair doesn't roll well. I have to fight it. Okay. Got a good amount of time, though, to get situated. But I just, left the camera like it is, even though you're seeing the black screen because of, there's nothing on the monitor. But it's I have to switch back to my machine to do all the switching and everything. So I could remedy that by doing a remote desktop connection, say to my laptop, the one I'm monitoring my live stream. But then that'd be using a lot more network activity, and my phones go over the network. So that's the reason I really don't do that. I have enough trouble with the audio and video getting out of sync as it is. So, of course, servers, I think what they do is to check the hardware when you shut them down and boot them back up, they're checking the hardware. So really, This one evidently is pretty fast because Morton's, there's the cursor. Morton says that he usually, he edits his videos and he says spend 10 or 20 or 30 minutes, depending on what if you put more different hardware in there, I think it really. I saw one video on the G7. Somebody put a video card in it, and he showed a timer. He sped it up, and skipped time. But he had a timer up in the window. It took an hour to boot back up with after he put that video card in it. So now you can't see the bottom of the screen. Okay, there we go. Oh, I never did set the doggone monitor to fit right. Actually, it looked like it fit right for the operating system, so maybe I'll leave it. That's what's the most important thing. Yeah, I think the last time I set it for the boot up screen and got it all right, and then when I got in the operating system, I had to reset it again. It should be going into the boot selector now, so I can select that USB, assuming it works right and everything. Boot beeps enough and tells you what's going on. Okay, one-time boot CD-ROM, one-time floppy, USB, HDD, and yeah, I can see everything. Well, of course, on the camera, it looks like maybe you can see it all. Anyway, I'm going to hit, and then there's a NIC, and then there's enter the ROM-based setup utility. Oh, okay, so you can get into that RBSU. That's how you get into the ILO setup. Exit boot, override menu, and continue default boot process. So you can also get into the ILO setup from here and call it RBSU because the number 3 is the USB. And don't do F3, do just the number 3. There we go. Now, the default is 32-bit, runs from RAM, and then you go down to number 2 there, and that's 64-bit, which is what I'll go ahead and do. And then there's all kinds of other settings so that it can boot on a lot of different machines. This is part of magic. And the default mode is the booting from load everything, the whole operating system into RAM. It only needs 312 megabyte plus. Over 312 megabyte. 312 megabyte and up. Well, I think 64 gigabyte will handle it, assuming that it can run on this architecture. But I think it will, because when I saw in the manual, it's not in the basic specs, but it's in the manual that it just says that in Fedora, and it lists a couple other like Debian and other standard Linux distros. You don't have to worry about installing, I forgot which drivers it was now, some drivers, hardware drivers, that are in the kernel already. So I think and this one is not Debian, and it's not Fedora. I don't know if it's Slacks or what it is, part of Magic, but but it looks like it's doing fine. I didn't see any errors. I wasn't paying there it is. I wasn't paying a heck of a lot of attention, but now let's see. It hasn't come up on my preview. It looks like I'm either going to see the top or the bottom. I can't see both. I can't move it any more back towards me. Yeah, I can go lower. I can see the rim of my monitor there. But the things I'm going to run are, I'm going to do System Profiler, that one up there. And it'll tell you the whole rundown of the hardware. So I'm going to do let's see, generate a port, select all, create. Oh, that's for saving a report. Oh, you can just start clicking on things and it'll start doing it, yeah. So the summary, I actually do want to do a report, but I don't know how. I don't have anything to save it on right now. Let's see that USB stick. I might be able to save it on it. I'll see. That I'm booted to. So it's set in the memory in megabytes, 69572. Yeah, 6,597. No, I can't read the number. How do you read that number? That's a lot of megabytes. It says, in the processor says 24X Intel Xeon CPU. So these, I mean, they say they're 2 6 cores, and so you have 12 hardware cores, and then 20, I guess 24 with hyperthreading. But it's the only processor I've ever looked at in these things that, you know, it says 24. It says everything you look at, it says 24 cores. So I don't know. That's cool though. Really neat to see that. Keyboards and all that stuff, and then SCSI disk HP 410i, which I guess is the. I'm not sure if that's the RAID controller model number or not. Operating system. Oh, this it says Linux Parted Magic. Maybe he made his own remix of Linux, because it doesn't say, like, you know, Slacks or any other stuff. It just says Linux 3. This is an old one from 2013, 3.7.5. Magic 64, and that was the last year that they were open source. They went proprietary, and so you got to pay to get it now. But it still does most of what I'd want to do. The G-Parted in it's too old to use very well now. But as you can see, it boots on this machine. Well, this machine's about the right age for this machine, really. Boots, languages, file systems. It doesn't see the hard drives or anything. Display. It just says resolution, and that's pretty much it. Environmental variables, I don't really look at that much. Let's see. Scripting languages. C Python. Compiler. So that's all stuff that's in the operating system. Users. You do have a few here for that Parted Magic has in it. Bunch of groups. Now, processor. Look at that. E5649, and it has a whole list of them. There's 24 of them, sure. 253 gigahertz. Oh, and then 2,532.66 megahertz. Maybe that's the number I saw on the processor, and I just couldn't read it right. Memory, it's all in kilobytes. That's that big number I couldn't read. Okay, and yeah, it kind of sounds like it's getting wait. It sounds like a model plane idling, getting ready, waiting for you to take off. It's not that loud, but it has that sound to it. It's not that so loud that it drives you insane immediately, but I wouldn't want to hear it all day long. But I am going to leave it in here and just slide it under the bed while I'm working on it and getting it all set up, and I can tell during the, you know, when I'm up working on it, how hot it'll get it in here. It's been cool lately, so I think it was 61 outside a while ago when I looked. It says 61 on the, up in Fort Worth. So it's probably might be a little degree or two. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's a couple of degrees cooler. Oh, I can flip my indoor. When the sun's on this window, I can't use my outdoor thermometer, but it's not on it right now. It's in the evening, so. See what the difference is. So with the window open, it's 77.2 in here, 56.7 outside. So yeah, it's a bit, I knew the air felt pretty cool. So the memory, just a big number that I can't read. The PCI devices, there's plenty of host bridges, lots of them. ISA bridge. Now, I don't care how new the machine is, you'll usually see an ISA bridge. ISA is the before PCI. I've got some machines with that. I've got some that are just that. I got some that are both. So I don't get into learning every little detail about all that stuff. But USB devices. Yeah, it's got 2.0 and 1.1, and it sees my mouse and my keyboard. Printers, no printers. Battery, no battery. Sensors. it's 8.30 degrees centigrade, so it doesn't tell me my native temperature. I need to know Fahrenheit. Doesn't mean a thing to me. It's just an arbitrary number. Okay, input devices, just like it is to the other people that use centigrade. Or Celsius, whichever one. See, I don't even get it right. I know centigrade and Celsius are different, but whichever one that means. Input devices, power button, keyboard, so on and so forth. Storage, HP 410i. I think that's the RAID controller. And then the flash reader, and so that's my single flash reader is what it says. That's my flash card that has Fedora 29 live on it. And then SanDisk cruiser pattern. There's 2 partitions on there. That's what I'm booted to right now. And DMI, date, BIOS, 10.19.10. There might be an update I could get for that. And version P67. So that would tell me. That's important to know if you're going to update BIOSes. I know in desktop, so I'm sure it is in the server. Although it seems that now I don't know, HP took down a lot of their stuff for this machine now. I've noticed that a lot of the links in the manuals are not there. But if they are there, then, well, actually it's IBM, where Morton's always going. You didn't have to go through a lot of, you have to be careful with BIOS. It's really hard to find the right version. You got to make sure you get the right one or you'll break your machine. He didn't have any, the website told him what he needed, you know. Matter of fact, well, no. I was going to say maybe he connected his machine to the website and it told him what he needed, but I don't know if he did that. But anyway. Memory SPD, there's not anything in there. Resources. I'm going to go ahead and generate this report and see if I can save it. Network. Okay, so we've got ETH0123. Has its IP. The IP is different. And then low. Unless that's what it was and I forgot. I told the router to give it the same IP, I thought. That looks like the IP for the, I saw that low and I thought that was going to be the ILO, but no, that's the local 127 address. And then, but Etho, it looks like it got a new IP, which is, I just need to make, I just wanted, I didn't, maybe it was ILO that I set and didn't set the IP yet because I wasn't sure what operating system I was going to use and all that sort of how I was going to do it. Could be. IP connections. And it might have done a different one because, no, it doesn't matter what operating system you do. It always gives the machine. If you set the router, it goes by the MAC address and it always gives it the same. So there's some listening and stuff going on there. And then routing table. Sees my router. And same, you know, the basic stuff there. DNS servers. Sees my ISP DNS servers. Statistics. Okay. Shared directories. None. That's generally on Windows. Oh, now here we go. We got CPU Blowfish, Crypto Hash, CPU Fibonacci, CPU in Queens, and FPU ray tracing, and GPU drawing. Of course, it would do terrible on those, but yeah. So Blowfish, this machine, 0.98. Lower is better, 0.98, and everything. Well, there is something. How could a 2 dual core AMD 64-4400 score better? 7.92. Oh, 7.92. 0.98. Read the numbers, Don. There shouldn't be anything in here in it with a 0 anything. Yeah. Yeah. So it just it's to the max of the scale. Yeah. It's 2.533 megahertz. That's what it should be. All right. I was going, well, what? Okay, now CPU Crypto Hash. Higher is better, 949.80, and I mean it blows the scale off the end of the scale, you know. That's cool. Never seen this before. Now it's benchmarking the Fibonacci. Let's see. Lower is better. 1.60. The number is lower is better, but the blue line goes higher when it's better, no matter what. That's very confusing. I mean, if the number's lower, the blue line should be lower. This is a funny program. Okay, so anyway, it's 1.60, and I'm not going to look at them all, but I'm sure it's better than all the rest of these in here. This is not made for measuring servers, you know. I don't know what you would use for that. Now this is doing the CPU in Queens. Do not move the mouse. Yeah, it's about done by the time I figure out it says what it says there. This one's taking a little longer. Some of these take a good while, a few minutes on a regular machine. Seconds is better. Results in seconds, lower is better. 22.19. So that's pretty good, I'm sure. Okay, now we're doing the FPU FFT. Now I guess all these FPUs is about the, well, I don't know what is an FPU. I know what a GPU is. There's only one that says GPU. These say FPU. I never have remembered to, if I ever looked up what FPU is, it has a picture of a monitor for an icon. Oh, now it's getting a little louder and I can hear it more. Anyway, it's 1.68. So of the ones that are in there, of course it's the best. Now we're doing, I can't read it anymore, it went white, but so we're benchmarking another FPU app. Yeah, now I wish it wasn't on the table. It's starting to irritate me. Sounds like some sort of machinery. 11.88. Results in seconds, lower is better. You know, I'm sure it's beat everything else. I'll have to. Oh, now here's that GPU thing. Line drawing. Oh, it's not looking horrible. I've seen other desktops I put on there take longer to do this than this. Boy, that hurts my eyes. I can't really look at it. I gotta look away. It's gonna hypnotize me. Next thing you know, I'll just get up and walk away and go do something else, and I won't know why. I'll wake up 3 days later. I won't know what happened. But I'll be happy, or whatever that says there. Looks like it says Happy Valentine's or something. Yeah, the noise is, this is the most irritating noise I've heard out of it is while I'm running these tests. If it was down on the floor, it wouldn't really bother me too much, but it's just right up like a foot below my ear, so the sound is in my ear level, you know. Now, like I said, 64 megabytes of video memory, it should do worse than pretty much anything else I've got. Well, I have some other machines that have the same size of video. I didn't remember this one being, well, I didn't remember this one being that long, but of course it's probably going to take longer to finish it than usual. I was checking my sound and I wasn't hearing anything. Okay, so I think it's going to be, you know, it's past everything with flying colors, of course, except for the GPU. And of course, I can fix that by putting that's one cool thing about, that's why these are actually, of the servers that I've seen videos on, these are probably the easiest to put a GPU, you know, video card in. More space, and they support the they'll support a decent video card, a 2 gig, or I think it would have support that 4 gig. I think, what did it, yeah, it didn't run, but like, no, I can't remember. Was it 25 watts or more? A lot more than that. I can't remember. But I would be happy with the 2 gig. I mean, the most I've ever had is 512 megabytes on my machine. So, and what this one I'm streaming from is 256 megabytes on board, and you can't, it only has standard PCI slots. You can't put a video card in it. Doesn't have an AGP slot. It doesn't have a PCIe slot. So yeah, and I just thought there was nothing acting slow, because this part of Magic doesn't need a lot of resources. So I showed you can kind of guess if it doesn't need any more than 312 megabyte of RAM, then it doesn't need a lot of GPU either. Of course, this test is testing it, and it's running it hard. It's running it hard, so for a good long time. So went blank. It just hit me. I was thinking, I want to save this test, and I was thinking, well, does my other USB stick have a way to save on it? But it's got Fedora. Yeah, Fedora net install. There's not going to be any. Fedora's installer, even like, that's what's, the Fedora 29 Live is on that SD card. There's like 30 gigabytes of free space, but you can't format it and use it. I tried it the other day. I tried it again for I don't know how many times. It just leaves blank space, but the installer won't allow you to use it just somehow. You can go into Gparted or whatever. I actually tried it, and I couldn't see it. Gparted couldn't see all the LVMs and everything in there, so I tried, or it just couldn't see it right. So I went into the either the genome partitioner or the Blivet GUI and went ahead and tried partitioning that empty space, and it just failed. And I remember trying that. I know I've tried it on several times. So it's really a waste of a good sized drive, or a good sized flash memory to just put the Fedora installer on there. I put it on there because I only have the 2 USB sticks and that SD card, and for portable media, And the USB sticks both had the Fedora 29 net install, which you don't have to just do servers. You can do Mate Desktop and all the other desktops. You can do whatever. And then I had Party Magic on the other one. I didn't want to erase it because I figured I'd use it on here. So now the fans are going up even more. So working the video warms the machine up, which is kind of a revelation to me. If I was had an easy way to move my mic, my SM58 over there, you could probably hear it. You might be able to hear it, I don't know. I tried with the lapels, but the compressor was too tight. It wouldn't let it, or the noise gate, the noise gate, I've got noise gate and compression on both mics. The noise gate I'm using on the lapels is in OBS Studio, and the noise gate and compressor I'm using on my SM58 are in my Behringer V-Amp effects unit, and I just use the defaults, and it works really well. Oh, it's still got more tests. But there's actually noise in this machine. You can hear it. That's why I really don't want to use this lapel anymore than I have to. That I don't know if it's the USB sound card or what. It's not the new mics, I'm pretty sure. Although I haven't actually used them on my phone or anything. If they were noisy, I'd be pissed. But I think it's that USB sound card, because I've tried the mic input on that machine. I think it's the machine itself. It's probably not the USB sound card, but the machine is making noise. And there's probably something in the electronics that's making noise getting in the audio. The Lenovo i5 I'm talking about. that reminds me, talking about sound. If I set this server up as my my desktop server combo, then I'm going to want to stream from it, right? That's one of the reasons I wanted something like this, so I can stream with no problems. I can open all the apps I want. I can have multiple operating systems running, either in the VM inside of Fedora 29 or on a hypervisor, however works the best. Actually, I just realized, to do the kind of things I like to do, it'd be best if everything was just running inside of my main operating system, because, well, no, I don't want to have to use my, I could set up everything in the hypervisor and then have all different operating systems running on the hypervisor, and then I could be on my Lenovo i5 and just use the web browser to connect to them. But I'd rather not do it that way. We'll see. I just have a learning curve here. This is way taking longer than I thought it would. Normally I get tired of waiting and I just quit waiting, but on this machine I really want to know everything I can about it, so I think I'll keep waiting. I guess we could quit watching the pretty little pictures and come back in a minute. I really thought it'd be done, so I thought I could just jabber while it was doing it. As sure as I switch off, it'll be done. But, and I didn't finish my sentence I started. So it's only got 2 PCI slots without that second riser. No, it's got 3. That's right, it has 3. So yeah, so first thing I would want is a video card. Unless I end up just doing hypervisor, then that wouldn't be necessary. I can give RAM to the video memory in each operating system. That's why I didn't buy one to start with. But let's say I did want a video card that'd go in that long slot, that 16 or 8X or whichever one it really is. And then the other 2 short slots, which I think are, they could take, from what I understand, you can use standard PCI cards or PCIe cards in those slots. From what it said in the manual, unless I misunderstood it. So that means, and I have some old sound, I like a Sound Blaster audio card and some other one. I've got some other ones. They're nothing fancy, but surely out of the 3 or 4 I have, one of them would work well. And so I can just put one in there, and then I'll have audio for my streaming. And then, I don't know, I kept thinking, well, I could put a modem in it and set up a fax server, but I don't really need one. I never fax. Anyway, I was just things popping in my head. Anyway, I do have 3 PCI slots I can use. One would be, there we go, one would be for my video card, and the other 2 would be for other things. So this machine is 1448.02. The results in high marks, higher is better. But it's only this machine. I think this is the one that always does that. I don't know what to compare it to. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be, 1448.02. That's the thing is, if there's a standard, I don't know what it is, and I've seen lots of people like Morton and do tests, and of course most of them, they just kind of learn the numbers of these test applications, and so they say, okay, this is good, this is bad. Of course, like I said, one thing I like about this application is it compares. The previous test, it shows you other machines and what they generally score. Of course, there's no other servers to compare it to. That's why it just says the CPU clock. It doesn't say, like to go back to Blowfish, it shows all the different CPUs. Doesn't say the memory, it just says the CPUs. But it's got a good list. So let's just go back where it says computer. I usually don't click on the very top one. Part of Magic Operating System, 24 CPU, Xeon, then the RAM. Didn't say the RAM, but I saw it in other places. And okay, so now I'm going to generate a report and see if I can save it. It's probably already selected all, but I'm going to say select all and then generate. And I don't know if it messes it up to rename it ahead of time or not. I think I won't, just to make sure. And something I got to remember not to do, file system, home. Oh, that's in Parted Magic. Let's see, I need to get to, I haven't mounted anything. Let's go over here. There's a deal for mounting. Is that it? No. Mount devices. There we go. I need to try to mount that. Yeah, there's Fedora 28 live. 29 live. And Parted Magic. 64 megabyte U3 system. I don't think you can mount that. That's my SD card. Oh, well, yeah, that is where I want to be. I was going to see if I could write it to this drive here. Media. I've got two things open here. What's the other one? Dev SDA1, media. Okay, Dev SDA1, media, Dev SDA1. Let's see if I can save it there. Oops. Back over here. There it is, Dev SDA1. I'll just try to save it to its main drive, see if that worked. I think it did. If it doesn't go away, I'll be all right. I don't think it worked. I don't see it. Oh, is there a reload button? Let's see. Go into a folder and then go back out. No, I don't think it saved it. Ported Magic wouldn't do me any good. I'm pretty sure you can't save stuff on it, can you? Boot, Ported Magic. Well, let's try it because that's what I'm on. Let's try saving it again. Now then, SDB1, Ported Magic. It's not giving me any sort of indication that it's not working, but I don't think, but it's SDB1. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be saving it there. I'm going to see if I can, well, it mounted it. Oh, I'd already been there before anyway. Did mount the SD card. I'll just try saving it straight to the SD card there. Generate port. Luckily, this machine is fast enough I can keep regenerating and saving a report. SRO. Okay, let's try that. All right. Doesn't look like it worked. So, where's the mount, man? I can't see it. My phone's in the way. There we go. Flash reader, media. Single flash reader. Oh, 9 megabyte. Oh, that's not mounted, yeah. The 1 gigabyte, that's the boot area of it. I don't care where I save it as long as it stays there until I can get it off of there. But I don't think it worked. It did. The file didn't show up when I tried to go look. Flash reader. Oh, mount, unmount. Okay, so the 1 gig is mounted. We don't want to try to there's a FAT16 on that Fedora flash card. And then there's 20 megabyte HFS plus. I don't think I would try that. I'm not quite sure what that's. If it could, I don't know. I'm not familiar with it using HFS. That's a new thing for me. I don't know when they started using that. And then SanDisk Cruiser pattern. That's mounted. I tried saving it, and then I could have got the wrong one though. There's two of them. I forgot about that. One says 298 megabyte, but that's going to go away. I think that's a live. And then the 63 megabyte. That's a system partition that comes on them, and you can't get rid of them. There just has a few Windows portable apps in there that are useless to me. Have been since I got it. But flash reader, 1 gigabyte, unmount. The 16, okay, that wouldn't help. You could mount that HSFS plus, but let's just try it and see. Can't really hurt anything, really. Select all, generate. Now which one is it? Let's see. HRO, boot, Ported Magic, EFI. I don't know which one it is. I guess if I'd go back and look, I would know. What did I just mount? It is SDA3, of course. Pay attention. Okay, I'll just try to save it to the root of that. At that worked, because it always comes up and says open with the web browser, and if you say yes, it will lock up Parted Magic. So always say no. It does it in every machine I've ever seen it in. So I should have it now. Over here in the where's the file browser? Guess I have to go up here. File manager. Now that I don't see that. Don't see there. I don't see that, but it seems to have worked because it brought up that standard message. I don't see it in the file manager, but that's okay. I'll be able to get it out of Fedora, I would guess. Okay. At least I have I've never done this before on this machine, so that gave me a good idea about the machine. Now the disk health, well, I only see the SD card, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the flash reader and there's no point in going, it really doesn't tell you much. I mean, I can open it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even read it because it doesn't have the kind of structure it can read. And I may do that on the, yeah, I can't do it on the USB. They're all flash memory, so I can't do flash memory. And let's see. Looking here in the system tools and stuff, I don't think there's anything else that I would really want to run. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. CloneZilla I use sometimes to clone a drive. LSHW, that is the hardware lister that we just ran, I think. Let's see if it's the same one. No, this is a different one. LSHW is a different one. So I don't think it would. And it usually, yeah, it opens up blank and you got to hit refresh and then it'll scan the hardware. So it's going to be the same stuff. There's a serial number in there. And then you got to do that to get to the system board. It goes 2 to 11. I guess there's more, but there's one CPU. Oh yeah, it's got good details on the CPU. If this will do a report, I'll do. Yeah, I think it will. There's a save button up there. Memory 2, 3, 11. I don't know why it doesn't show 0 through. Well, it should show 0 through 11, but I don't see 0 and 1. And then there's SCSI 0 and 1. Power supply. This device hasn't been claimed. Neither one of them have been. Okay. So that's it. It's got some good info, but not quite as much as now. I want to go in SDA3, Parted Magic. And maybe I'll be able to read that later. Guess I can go to the file manager. Oh yeah, you can't go to SDA3 in there, or at least not in a quick and easy way. Now, I don't need to unmount because I'm going to just shut this down. So I keep thinking I need to unmount. Okay, now. Yeah, there's a lot of good tools in here. They're all getting pretty old now, but PhotoRec you can get back like photos and stuff. It's on down. Oh yeah, keep looking. Safely remove hard drive. Profile I already did. And the test disk. I don't know if that's in the. Yeah, it looks like it is in the picture. That you can recover lost partitions and stuff on hard drives. I've used it a lot over the years, and you can install that in pretty much any Linux distro too. But you don't want to recover on the one you're running on though. It has to be unmounted on the hard drive you're running on. So you got to be careful with it. It's very powerful. And there's another one, UPD cast, disk cloning, TrueCrypt. Let's see, networking. And that's ZenMap. I might open that in a second here. So actually, there's only a few things missing from it, and just something you can use every day as your operating system. Especially if you were doing work like this all the time, you can just run this all the time. And if you wanted to, you know. See, especially if you were running on an older machine that wasn't very powerful. But the one thing is you can't, I've never found a way to install more apps to it or anything. There is a way to, what's odd though, usually there's a, I don't know where it is in here, but there's, if I remember right, there's a way to you know, burn an ISO of your live PartyMagic. But if you can't install any more apps or anything, then I don't know, you know, it wouldn't be any good. Maybe you can, and I just never learned how. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point right now. Just that I was trying to remember. Yeah, saving PartyMagic. Save only content from root directory. Save the current environment settings for future sessions. Oh, I see. So it's really about, like, you could save all your settings that you did, and that was probably was really helpful. The older versions of PartyMagic, you had to set up your networking and stuff, you know, with the app down here on the right and stuff. And so I remember it got really a pain in the butt to have to do it over and over if you had to reboot or just you were just working on a machine and you'd go to one rescue system to another or something. So yeah, if you save that on your, well, like this was originally made, you know, they have a picture of a CD, so they would say you could, I remember a lot of these distros, they'd say you could save your settings on another track on your rewritable CDs or on regular CD, but you just can't change it anymore, you know. But anyway, but you could do that with a USB too. If you have a partition that's writable, like I was just looking, working all right. So I'm going to go ahead and log out now. I'm getting really, really hungry, so I've already had breakfast and lunch. I'm going to have to eat supper, so I guess I'll have to stop and eat supper, and then hopefully, because I just want to, hopefully I'll come back. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn off computer. Hopefully I'll be able to eat supper and come back and work on it some more. Get that USB out of there. Actually, before I do that, let me switch back to my other machine. If I can get to it. When I use this long back scratcher handle, it's always harder to hit the right spot. Oh, it nearly went off into the nowhere land. So let me get that USB out of there. Tight enough that it made it's pretty slick, like I said on the bottom. It made the thing move an inch, not that much, but okay. So yeah, I don't have a camera left that's I could move it, but I won't do it. It's pointing at the monitor, but yeah, what have I got here? Yeah, there's my manual where I was at. I think I'll put it back up to the beginning. And I guess I'll leave it right there. I don't have anything to show good. I've started to open up the browser, but I really need to go. So, yeah, I want to look up the architecture of the CPU. I'll type in, get those numbers, type them into one of those CPU websites and see all the details about those CPUs. Maybe it'll give me a clue as to why they show up as 24 cores with 2 of them. And I keep thinking, what if those are 12-core CPUs? But I don't think so. There are 12-core CPUs that can be put in these HP servers, I think. That'd be so awesome. But you know, just straight up 12 real hardware cores, you know. I believe there are. Let's see. Yeah, and I want to check into. Then I want to go to the Fedora website and and maybe even Red Hat and see what particular, if I've got the best, you know, if the normal Fedora versions x86 64 is what I want to run, what I should run on it or not. If they actually have something for this these processors, and then go on from there. That's the main things right now. I did the heatsink paste. You can check that off. Okay, so cool. Well, I got to find out more about it, and I'm really glad about that. And yeah, the more I mess with it, the more I like it. So now I feel better about putting new heatsink paste on it. I think, you know, it was covered good and it wasn't dried up, but it wasn't like I've took them apart before, you know, several months later, and it usually feels just like it did when you put it in there. So I think it had been in there and warmed up long enough. I don't know how long it would take in this server. It was warmed up long enough that it was not gooey anymore. It was beginning to get, it was tacky, but it was beginning to be a little pretty firm. It gets just beginning to dry. So I think I'm really glad I just replaced it. It wasn't getting hot the other day or anything, you know, it was fine. But anyway, I'm going to go now and have to eat supper and stuff, and then hopefully it's not too late, so it's about 8. Of course, that'll take me at least an hour to eat, and then it'll be 9. The thing is when I start back up after supper doing videos, I go 2 or 3, 4 more. Sometimes I have gotten recently 5 hours, and then, you know, I'm up till 3 or 4 in the morning, and then it messes up my schedule so bad and wears me out to where the next day I usually don't get anything done. So we'll try to be, I'll do as much as I can, but try to be moderate. Use some moderation as well. All right, so I'll be back either later after I eat or tomorrow. See you later.